What's that?
Dating leads?
No. I'm not on Hinge trying to find clients. Trust me.
Oh my God, that'd be a good idea.
That would be a good idea.
Hey, it's Jason Stratton. We are at the Jason Theory Podcast. We are in episode 8. I can't believe we made it to 8. Crazy 8. And we are here with the guest. John, you want to give us your stats?
My stats? Sure.
Stats. Height, weight, full
yeah.
head of hair.
Oh yeah,
Fucker.
full head of hair. Just turned 40. Starting to age here a little bit.
So tell us your brokerage group, where you work, everything.
Yeah, I work with Fulton Grace Realty. We have a team within Fulton Grace called the 77 Group, 77 neighborhoods in Chicago. There's a 78
That's
coming.
where that's from.
So that's going to mess up our name
What's
a
the
little
78?
bit. Oh, they call it the 78. I believe it was going to be another neighborhood coming.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that?
I don't know that. Okay.
So that was kind of
I should know that.
That was our idea. We're like local experts throughout Chicago.
I like that.
So that was kind of the name that we had. We did, I think, 52 million last year. So
Nice.
it was a big year for us, a lot of growth. And heading into this year, we're chugging along and seeing some different market changes, as I'm sure you guys are and everybody else is. So thank you for having me. It's awesome.
Yeah, no, we're gonna be fun. I don't know any single agents, so we're gonna have some fun with this.
No.
And there's you can't plead the fifth. When did you get started?
So I started about 5-6 years ago. I was
So you're
in
kind of a
hospitality.
newbie.
Yeah, in a sense.
You're not a neophyte. You're not a newbie, but you're in that growth stage.
Right, yeah. I've seen full-time like 4 years, so let's say from 2018 till now, it's been a strong market.
Yeah, you've only seen prosperity.
So I did buy during 2008, and I saw the foreclosure market.
Okay.
And I was in the process of getting licensed, and honestly, I chickened out. I was like, I can't jump into this market. Like, I can't go from a full-time, salary job to trying to sell foreclosures and short sales, and you probably saw a lot of people duck out of the business at that time.
Yeah, there's definitely a thinning out at that time. But at that time, from 2008 to 2011, is when Sophia and I really actually grew.
Really?
Any time that there is turmoil, basically, just it shakes out. Like I love when the stock market drops, not because I lose money, but I love when there's pullbacks because it shakes out the weak, and then the recovery is always strong, and it's always strong. And if you can make it through that shakeout, man, your volume doubles. Like you don't want to see blood on the streets, but a nice pullback is really good. It's healthy in every aspect of business. It gets rid of the fat.
Yeah. No, and I can see it. I mean, I think our business now, like being a real estate broker or even a loan officer, such a hot job to have, right?
Yeah.
Because everything is going great. So, people, whether they see you, me, whoever else, our peers, they're closing all these properties. It's just a given. It's not a given. First and foremost, it's not that easy. But I could see a lot of people having instant success, and then, when tough times come and the thinning out happens, it's when you kind of feel like you got to double down.
Well, you started in a time, okay, you're saying it was good back then, but it was still in the recovery stage, right?
Yeah.
So like if you have somebody that started in the last 2 years, they don't know what it is to prospect. They don't know what it is to grind, right? It's like a kid that's been given everything, and all of a sudden they're like in a situation where they're not given it, and they cry and can't deal. That's what we're going to see, and everyone's just going to bow out.
Like we did rentals. Like I know a lot of brokers, they frown upon doing rentals or don't want to do them. And I'll be the first to say I don't enjoy doing rentals, but that's what I started with.
But it also creates a book of business, right?
Of
Like
course.
I started on rentals.
Yep, so did I.
And I think there is, if you go back and look at really successful agents, you're going to see like a real like rental, or they sat like development, like they put their work in. They paid their dues to not take that expression.
They made those small commissions, but they really started building relationships.
Yeah.
And look, rates have been great, and I've seen some successful people in our brokerage where Fulton Grace does a ton of rentals, and some of these agents that were doing rentals for 2-3 years, they're killing it now. They were putting people into some of these nice luxury rental buildings, one beds for $2,500, and now that's a $500,000 buyer. If you keep that past client relationship.
And how about the fact that person you put in that $500,000 place, right? They have 4 friends, and they have 4 friends. Like I went out on rental showings yesterday.
Did you really?
I do them because of what you said. I'm a grinder, man.
I know you are, but I'm shocked with as much business as you guys do.
I'm a grinder. I was
at
at rental buildings all day for 3 hours yesterday doing rentals.
It's an hour each, right? By the time they tour you through every.
Yeah, I mean, I do them because you can never sit back and say the business is always going to come. Like I'm a freak like that, and I think everyone is that kind of gets to a successful level. They're always like I'm always scared I'm never going to make a dollar.
I'm the same way. I'm like, oh my god, I'm broke.
Yeah,
I'm broke
at all times. Yep. But that's the mindset I think you have to get there. Like people will probably say to you all the time, I want to get in real estate. This. I'm like, are you okay never getting a paycheck again? Are you okay this? Are you okay with that? And everyone's like, I'm like, no. I'm like, you're your own boss. Like, you can't hide from crappy work. Yeah. Right? You can't, right? Because you are the entity. You are the enterprise. Exactly. And if you don't put the hours in, next month you don't get a check. Next year, like I'm sure you have people underneath you, right? Yeah, we have other agents, and that's what we try to tell them. I was like, hey, like, don't take your foot off the pedal just because you had one big month and now you got all this extra money stashed away. I go, that could disappear. Like, if you go cold for 2-3 months, you have no paycheck, no closings, you're not doing any rentals, anything. Like, you got to just act like your last paycheck is your last. You don't know. Yeah, because it could be. Because it's 90 to 120 days before you get paid again. Like, all right, you got paid. That's great. That's done. Like, I always say to my kids when they're playing sports, next play. Yeah. I'm like, oh, you hit a home run? Okay, next play. Yep. Or hey, it was an error, or you screwed up, next play, right? You got to have that mentality. Even when you're successful, you have to have that next play mentality because nothing's given when somebody else isn't cutting a check for you. No, I agree. And that's kind of like even my parents being old school Greeks told me. Yeah, well, they're both Greek. I mean, you could tell by the handsome faces. My dad's like, you're going to a job and you don't know when you're going to get paid again? Because they're used to the traditional, go to a salary, or they own restaurants. They knew they'd have. Well, restaurants are the same thing, man. They are. If you don't open and close and your employees don't show up, you got to be there to vouch for your business. Or they take all your cash. They scam because it's a cash business. Yeah. So it was like that. When my parents ask me now, they're like, oh, we're having a gathering on Saturday. Like, my sister's having a cookout on Saturday with my uncles and people at 4 o'clock on a Saturday. I go, got a showing at 5 in Pilsen. So it's like, I can't not go there. That is a potential check. That is, I got to be there for my seller. That might be our buyer. So you got to be there and be available because you just don't. But how great was the first time that you could turn to your parents that were having too many people over the house and you're like, I can't go, I have to work. To me, that's like the best phrase in the world. Sorry. So you want to even hear something worse? I can't make it. Terrible? We love terrible. Sometimes I don't get invited anymore. I'm not even lying. They don't bother. They say, oh, Yanni's working. I was like, what do you mean? I might have had a slow Saturday. Well, we didn't want to bother you. It's not that you're bothering me. It's just that my excuse is a legitimate excuse. Yeah. Our weekends are other people's. And you've never used it for other things? Yeah, of course I have. Okay. Of course I have. I mean, sometimes you say I'm busy, but sometimes you just need a little time yourself. Yeah. Like I don't get many Saturdays, Sundays off, but today I think I mentioned to you I'm going to a Cubs game. I had to pack in some showings this morning. Yesterday was insane. Today to go out and have a couple old styles and be a Class C Cubs fan, I got to pay for it tomorrow, right? Oh, you're going to pay for it tomorrow. Yeah, I am. At what point did you go, when you went from rental agent to mostly sales and still dipping into rent, what's the one thing you can attribute the most from when you go from, if an agent's listening or anyone in sales listening, where you go from 5, 6, 7 million to 15 million, like making that, what was if you could pinpoint one thing that you'd learned to do to create that turn? Honestly, it's when we hired a transaction coordinator, full-time admin. I found one year, I don't know if it was 2 years ago, I had my breakout year. I did like 13 million, and before that, I was like a, $5 million agent. That's a big bump. That's the split. That's why I said 7 to 13 to 14. It doesn't happen. You don't go 10. You don't go 5, 10, 12, 13. You go 5 to 7 to 13 to 15. Yeah. It's like that's the bump. Yeah, and I think what helped me prepare. So what you do to get busy is you prospect, right? So what happened was I prospected, I got all this business, but then I was too busy doing all the business myself, like all the paperwork,
the transaction side, making sure the clients were happy.
Stuff that a $20 or $30, like stuff that's way beneath your hourly rate.
It's stuff that I'm not even good at, to be honest with you, and I don't want to do, and I'm better like delegating it. But like to answer your question, is being able to delegate and trust someone else to do that work allowed me to continue to prospect the whole year. I hit a bump where I was so busy, and then I did all the business, and then no pipeline.
Yeah.
Because I was too busy using all the hours of the day, just taking care of the servicing.
Yeah.
So that I would attribute to.
And you need that pipeline 6 months in advance, right?
Yep.
Like people don't understand that. Like we're building business. Like when it gets to August, I start freaking out about February. My wife's like, dude, it's in February. I said, February is now.
Yep.
February is in August and September.
Like when does 2023 start for you?
In 21.
In 21? Damn, you're 2 years ahead. I'm like 6 months, like you said. Like I'm looking at.
I have I probably have about 20 to 25 million booked in 22 by March of 21. That's going to be developments that are out, stuff like that. Like that's going to be all my development stuff's a year out. I mean, it just is, right?
Just because of permitting and building,
stuff like that. So like that's out by September. I'll have like I started with about 42 million in my pipeline in January, like where I knew I'm gonna close this.
That's a great thing to know. Like when you've been in the business how many years now?
15.
So have you seen like I'm getting to a point where I could predict a little bit. Like I was in the 20 million, 22, 23 last year. This year I could kind of see something close to the same. But I don't know, you being 15 years and having success you guys have had.
I think the success will be there. I think the one thing that I've learned to be like when I don't have those busy weeks or I have a slow month is that like my mom was the highest paid woman like in the 60s in Chicago. She was a headhunter.
Oh wow.
She's a boss lady. And she looked at me once and I was complaining and she still works. The lady still makes $250,000. She's 80.
Your mom?
Yeah. At 80, $250,000. For which means I don't want to hear any bitching from some millennial that can't make money.
Jeez.
And during cancer treatments and stuff like that.
Yeah. Oh my God.
So
she's tough.
She's tough. She's tough. So that's who raised me. And like there's no excuses in our house. And
your mom's that tough, and you're like kind of a softie.
I'm a softie. And she goes to me, and I was complaining about it, and she goes, "It's a 12-month game."
Yeah.
She goes, "You're going to have months that are $200,000 months. You're going to have months that are $10,000 months."
Right.
She goes, "But you got to look at the 12 months." I think that's kind of like I think that calmed me down when I started doing like pipeline sheets.
Yeah.
Like I have an Excel sheet and I see where I need to be, where I'm at. My commissions are
like
inside.
Weighted averages on
everything. So like, but it just to keep me calm.
Yeah. It kind of it loosens up the anxiety that you're like, okay, in order to hit your goal, I just started doing like a weighted pipeline. If I want to do 25 million this year, I know I got to have 35 million in the pipeline because some things are going to fall apart.
Yeah. I had
a lot fall apart in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Like I've been depressed. It just, it's coming, it's going to happen, but it just sometimes, some people say, hey, they get used to it, but I think it's hard. One of the hardest things for me is like when you work so hard, you get someone under contract, could have been 6 months, that you started a relationship and then things fall apart over something.
And then they're like, you know what, just find me a rental.
Oh. It is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is. Just kick me.
Yeah, kick me when I'm down already. Yeah.
All right, so now let's get to some fun stuff too now. How are you dealing, we kind of talked about it before off air before we started. How are you dealing setting expectations for people that look at February, March, April, absolute fucking madness to wanting to list at the worst time, the 100 Days of Summer? Because we only have 100 days, and not to take away from that reality show they had that Vince was on, who's now an agent. But the 100 Days of Summer, everyone shuts down, especially kind of like, well, we're a little bit, you're in that age. I'm a little over that age, but like it just stops.
Yep. So, I mean, right now, obviously this market, I think everyone's been spoiled as a seller. So a couple of listings that I have coming up now, like that's the first thing I said is like, don't go back and look at what happened from January 1st until like mid-May. Rates were a little bit lower. I think this first quarter was like a record first quarter for a ton of agents.
Yes.
So, we're going into May, June, July, rates going up. it's just the activity. I think with COVID the last 2 years, we didn't stop throughout the whole year. Summer was busy when normally summers are slow.
Yeah.
This summer, I keep telling everybody, with lax COVID restrictions, people are going to travel again. They're going to go to Europe, Mexico. They're going to take the 4th of July and take that 10 days off. We didn't have that as much going on.
No, they're stuck in their house and they're like, fuck, I need a bigger house.
Yeah. So now, like this market in July, I think, generally it's going to be really slow. So if I'm listing something right now, which, I have a couple that I'm just like, we got to like be aggressive in June because I think July is where the weather's going to be consistently
hot. It's a ghost town.
Yeah.
So like, and it's really interesting that people always like you see the news now, oh, this is down, this is down, this is down. Like people, it's June. This is normal. It's not down. It's normal.
But what do you say to someone who's been in the business 2 years and they only know fast-paced, busy? And trust me, I think we've all gotten a little spoiled by it. But I do hate everybody complaining that rate. I bought in 08 at 6.25, and that was during,
Fucking rates are low.
It's
a talking point. It's a narrative to sell stories. I put on TikTok that rates are like this. I get like 5,000 people commenting on like,
dude, you gotta show me how to use TikTok. You're older than me and I don't even know how to use it.
It's pretty fun.
I just don't know how to do it. I just haven't tried.
I'll teach you how to do it. The kind of like the camera work you do is pretty cool.
Yeah.
But everyone's like panicked. They're like, the end of the world's coming. And I'm like, no, it's not. I go, we're going to hover between like rates pull back. It's like, I'm like, you guys understand how my background is interest rates. I traded interest rates.
Yep, I remember you were.
So like, I'm like, you understand as the market cools off, interest rates come down. It doesn't matter what the Fed does, right? The Fed can keep raising rates. The simple fact of the matter is that traders think that, and investors think the market's going to cool off. Rates are going to drop because they rush to treasuries. As people buy treasuries,
right,
the market stops. The rates drop, and people like don't understand that. Like I get not a TikTok war, but I'm like, listen, you don't understand. The Fed adjusts the overnight rate, not rates.
What are you seeing your buyers at right now? 5.25? Like, what are you seeing?
If everyone's like 5.25, 5.75, but I do
on condo purchases.
Yeah, but if you have like, I've seen 4.75s
without points.
Without points. If you're, let's say, if you're Chase Wealth.
Oh yeah, private client.
Those
are the best ones.
Yeah, like my client, like at Morgan Stanley. Like, because that's where I bank. If I do something with Morgan Stanley, I'm under 5. The service on those banks, going through banks, is like excruciating. And I tell that to people. That's fine. You're getting 4.75 versus 5.25. That's a half a basis point. It's a lot. I'm like, but just prep yourself for like 17 different back office people. You're gonna have to give your W-2 700 times.
Oh God, I know. We see that all the time.
I'm like, as long as you're okay with that.
Yeah, like the Wells Fargo's and Morgan Stanley's, I've had a couple.
Yeah, they're
like,
tough.
Especially with associations, I was like, we sent out a really nice introductory email, and I was like, did you not read any of it?
Yeah,
like,
no,
you guys
they
reach out. They reach out like to the buyer's agent all the time, like asking for the title information. I was like, why are you reaching out to me? Like,
they don't know.
They don't.
They just find whatever name they can find, and they're like, this is what's wrong with the youth, right? From 20 to 30, they're not going to research. They're going to be like, I'm going to find one thing and someone else is going to do the work for me. That's what I truly believe. Like, if you can find somebody that's like, hey, I don't think this is right, but I'm going to do some research and find them, fucking hire them.
Yeah.
They don't exist.
It's true.
All right. So talk to me about being single as a realtor. Have you ever, this is what I was thinking about, because I've never been single as a realtor. And
you've been married your whole real
time.
estate career?
I've been married
20 years. No, you're not.
17, 18.
Really?
Yeah. I should know that. But my wife wouldn't
know. You started what, in your mid-20s? No, not your mid-20s. You're in your late 40s now?
Yeah.
Late 40s?
I started like right around my 30s. I got married when I was 27.
Oh, damn. That's young. Oh, not young. That's normal. That's
20. No. I got married. I got engaged when I was 27. Anyways, let's not get into that. I'm going to get in trouble. But I was never single. So I was like, man, you're in a situation. To me, it's a situation where let's talk about clients first.
Sure.
Where you have a ton of bonding with clients. Like I've been in 5 people's weddings that are my clients.
Oh, wow.
So like these relationships, people don't understand, like are really bonded, which is great, right?
Absolutely.
That's the best thing. I always tell somebody, a person smiles 3 times in their life. When they have kids, when someone says I do, and when they buy a house. And we're part of one of those
Part of
three
one of
major
those, yeah,
smiles,
big-
which is awesome.
Milestones.
Has there ever been a connection between you and a client?
Has there ever been? Well, yeah. I mean, like you said, a lot of my clients just coming into the business were people that I met from online leads. So that really takes a lot of
Dating
nurturing,
leads?
hand-holding. What's that?
Dating leads?
No. I'm not on Hinge trying to find clients. Trust
Oh
me.
my God, that'd be a good idea.
That would be a good idea, but that hasn't ever transpired into like, oh, swipe right on John. Oh, he's a realtor. Maybe I'll buy a house from him. Maybe I'll buy me a couple drinks and see where it goes. But a lot of our leads are like,
That's got to be a snippet right there.
yeah. They're like SEO driven, so they go on Google and they might type something in and we pop up. And so for us, like the bond is like, first and foremost, when I take a renter and see them buy or rent their first $1,600 apartment, and then their relationship goes to their first condo, and then I see them get married, and then I help them buy their first house. Like there's just a really strong bond there. But yes, there's been some times where I've had clients, like single females, where like it's been like 9 months. I was like, do they ever want to buy, or do they just really like me?
What's the story?
I don't know. Sometimes it's just they don't know what they want to do. It's uncertainty.
I understand those, but has there ever been a time where
I try not to dance around that. I don't think it's good to mix business with that, because you know what? Like you lose referrals, you lose a lot. I don't want a bad Zillow review. I was a jerk.
John was a terrible kisser.
Yeah.
2 stars on Zillow.
Yes, he was drunk and
I'm surprised
what's that?
if that you haven't,
Look, there's been
instances.
Listen, there's always sloppy Fridays and stuff like that where things happen, but
Also, something has happened.
Yeah. I'm trying to think back if there's any specific. I kind of shy away from clients.
Okay.
I really do. I really don't think it's now agents and parties, YPN events. There's always been like some kind of you go out to these things, but look, for me, I go out often enough that I meet girls out, people out all the time. I'd rather not do it where I make money.
Yeah.
Because what if she's on the other side of a deal and they went bad? I don't want to affect my client's ability to get a condo or a house because of something else. So I try to be cool with everybody.
So if I wasn't married, I'd be out of the business. That's what you're saying.
I don't know about that. Maybe you would be. Maybe you would be. No, I think I would be. But
and then so when you're talking about, I wanted to hit on that too. So you guys do a ton of SEO search and stuff like that. For people that want to get into that and get into converting clients offline, what is the process? Not like the whole process, but back to the math process. Like when someone comes in, how do you establish that relationship, that trust right over the bat?
As an online lead comes in?
Yeah.
Honestly,
it's tough to convert.
It's very tough to convert.
Do you beat around the bush, or do you just go right to the point?
So I'm very non-salesy. I don't try to make it like a tough cold call. So typically I get their information, email, phone number. They'll be on some kind of drip campaign. They'll maybe get like an auto text, but
so you go to you make sure you text first or email first.
I have it automated.
Okay.
But where I really feel the conversion is on the higher side is picking up the phone and really interacting.
Yeah.
And a lot of times my conversation is something as simple as like, hey Jason, saw that you logged onto our site. I always try to go I'm sure you're just browsing, because that's usually what they tell me they are.
Yeah.
Sure you're just browsing, but I wanted to check in. Why were you looking at single families in Bucktown? Do you have any questions? Are you in the market 6 to 12 months from now? Because everybody wants to be like, hey, I'm not ready to buy. Don't sell.
So
me.
you go with the 6 to 12 months right off the bat.
I always ask.
I like that.
I'm sure you're 6 to 12 months out, and hoping they tell me otherwise. Hoping they tell me, actually, John, we're looking in the next few months. And then typically what I do is I shoot them a follow-up text with, nice talking to you, save my number. This is John. You just spoke with me. And I'll follow up again.
Does that phone call occur once they start searching, right? So once the lead comes in,
yeah,
your guys' search engine, once the lead comes in, you know what they're looking at.
Yeah, we know what they're looking at. And so I'm not going to call them at 8 o'clock at night, but if it came in today at 6 p.m., I'll call them tomorrow.
Okay.
And just check in with them. And a lot of times we get people just like, I was just browsing. I'm really not in the market. I'm a window shopper. But that's just a way for them to kind of push you away.
And what do you do when you get that?
So what
Because we all
do
get
is-
that, right? Everyone listening to this podcast gets I'm not a buyer.
Yeah, we put them on a safe search so we could stay in their inbox and they could always see our name reappear.
Okay.
We always follow up, whether text, email campaign, but I always do like a dummy phone call. I always call up and just follow up and say, hey, I know you're just browsing, but I've been sending you some properties. Just want to make sure from what I'm sending you, is it kind of like what you would be looking for if you were in the market? Just, it's all very like, I'm not trying to bother you, but I'm just trying to see if you could open up and tell me a little bit about what motivated you to come on our site. Why are you still continuing to look 2 months after you told me you're not in the market?
Yeah.
Some people just love looking at real estate.
Isn't that bizarre?
It's insane.
How about these fucking people that go to open houses every week and they come in?
I make sure I put no beverages, no snacks on the MLS because God forbid you click that, people show up just so they can get some pretzels. Like,
oh, dude, that's how the suburbs are.
Yeah,
I've had people come in and take sandwiches and leave. Like,
are you shitting me?
No. But the people that
I'd be livid.
The people that go to open house, it blew my mind. I don't do a lot of suburbs, and one guy, agent, looked at me and goes, "That's how it is out here." They go just from house to house and eat everyone's food.
Fuck that. And then you gotta watch them walking around and make sure
They don't even walk around. They go to the kitchen, they get the food, and they leave.
Can you say anything?
No, I was like dumbfounded.
Please sign in at least so I can
Yeah.
harass you for a month.
These are agents.
Oh, it's just the agents you're talking about.
Yes.
Don't they do broker opens in the burbs?
That's where they come eat the food and at the regular open house. But let's veer for 1 second. People that habitually go to open houses because they like to go to open houses with their kids, do they just have nothing else to do?
I wonder. I always think about the people that might have just been out walking with their dog or their kids and they stumble across something in their neighborhood and they're nosy neighbors. That's cool.
That's fine.
I don't mind that. But if you're just walking around or you're on Redfin or Zillow or whatever and looking at open houses and you're going to say, I'm going to walk
You
in
can't say
there.
Redfin in this room.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Okay.
Well,
Thank you for telling me that. I'd rather not give them any. Actually, just had a Redfin agent kept messaging me about getting in to see something today, and I told him tenants won't allow me. And I go, this time doesn't work. So they went from 12:15 to 12:30. I declined it again. I go, today doesn't work. They canceled the 12:30. Then they did 12:45 today. I go, but don't you understand? I cannot show today.
Dude, I went
Just nuts.
I went nuclear on an agent.
Did you?
Nuclear. I mean, like level 5 nuclear.
What? How bad was it? Like,
It was
I mean,
bad.
what did they do to get this?
So the whole system doesn't work. I don't even know if I can say this. The whole system doesn't work because multiple people are handling the same client.
Because it's a lead buyer's agent.
Yeah.
There's the
And then what they'll
Showing
do is
agent.
the same person will click in multiple times as they change their mind.
on showing requests.
On showing
That's
requests.
probably what I was dealing with today, and I was like annoyed.
And then what happens is the person in San Francisco, wherever they are, they tell the agent that had the showing that they're not doing the showing anymore. But that agent's responsibility is to then tell the agent not to come. I constantly go to canceled Redfin showings.
Oh no.
Constantly. I fixed the issue, and I'll keep that to myself how I fixed it because I don't know what I can and can't say. But it's been bad.
It's, you know what annoyed me, and I don't know if they still do this. I don't go on their site very often ever. Your listing and they put next available tour on your listing.
Yeah.
How like you may not be showing it. You put it up on Wednesday, and you may not be showing it till Saturday's open house. How could they sit there and say next available tour? I'm sure it's a tactic to get leads.
Yeah.
And it just annoys me.
Or do you ever see the thing that says you don't even have to go, we'll go for you?
No, I didn't see that.
That's the new thing. Since
What?
COVID, they have that there. It's
Well, they're doing
literally
rentals
underneath.
now too, I saw.
I don't care.
Yeah, whatever.
I'm not in
That's
that
the
market. So
Yeah.
yeah. All right. So what we learned today is soft leads, soft talking to these leads. This is the number one thing.
I think it's asking the right questions.
Okay.
You know, finding out timeline, motivation, you know, what they're really looking for. It's taking some time. I get frustrated with online leads when you stay in front of them and you still don't get them. But what I've noticed a lot lately in the last 2 months, they just circle around multiple sites and they already have a broker.
Yeah.
So it's annoying,
But that's what I'm asking you. When do you ask them? When do you ask them? And we got on the open house, but that's what I was going to ask you. When do you tell them that? Are you working with someone?
When do I actually ask
Yeah.
them if I never really ask them if they're working with someone. I assume that if they're coming on our site, that hopefully they're not working with someone. They usually quickly respond. Like, I had a guy talk to me for 40 minutes and then drop the bomb on me that he has a broker. was like, why didn't you say something the first 5 minutes?
Have you ever shown up to show something and they bring their broker with?
They think we're the listing agent.
Yeah, and all of a sudden there's 3. That happened. That's another red
That's a pet peeve of mine. Doesn't happen as much anymore. But
no, I think they figured it out. But I this year twice I showed up, and I mean I'm on the sell side, so I don't really care. And then the agent shows up, the red agent shows up, and the red agent's like this, and I look at the red agent, I go, "Did you tell them that it's not your listing?" And she looks at me, and I go, "That's why it doesn't work."
we get some of our own clients sometimes that don't understand, like where I go, "Hey, you find it on Redfin, Zillow, Realtor, whatever website, reach out to me."
Yeah.
Don't think, oh, you're bothering me because you're going to just click.
That's what they say too. Like they're like, I don't want to bother you. Like this is how it works.
That's not bothering. That's like, hey, I'm here to go show
That's my
it to
job.
you. And if it's an open house or something, because it's confusing for people.
Yeah.
I get it. There's so much online now that I was going to ask you on like the rental side, like there's all these buildings, people just click and go straight to the leasing offices.
Well, like the people that I work on the rental side are all people that I'm really close with.
I get it.
Like at this point, that's kind of like
you're not doing online lead chasing.
No,
it's
my
really,
Lord have mercy, no.
Yeah, not on rentals. Rentals are hard.
It's hard.
Buyers are easier, but
Yeah.
rentals are hard. It's so cutthroat.
Yeah, and
So
yeah,
cutthroat.
and they're like, "Oh, I found something yesterday when I was walking home."
And you already show them 5 places.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm done with this.
That's a tough gig, but look, the people who got it down, good for them. The challenge I see now is just so many fake ads.
Yeah,
Places that have
the
already
place I went to
rented.
yesterday was like, "Oh yeah, that one's rented, but we have these 3 in the building."
And it's still up active, right?
Yeah,
Yeah. I know.
it's all clickbait.
It is
it's
all
crazy.
clickbait, but that's what it's come to, man.
I know. All right, well, we're gonna let you go, John.
Man,
I appreciate your
having
time.
me. No, thank you.
And we will talk again. And good luck with the summer.
Thanks, man. Likewise.
And we'll I always see you around. So
No, I see it. We got to go to Uncle Julio's.
yes. All right,
Long
bud, thanks.
overdue. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Make sure that you follow us on YouTube where this video will be dropped, and we will be on. Let's see, we're on Spotify, we're on Buzzsprout, and every other place. So download and follow us, and you'll get the podcasts that come out. Thanks so much.